Hello my gorgeous friends, I am filming this on Christmas Day, so Merry Christmas even though time has passed by the time this is out, but Happy New Year because this will be out on time before that. This year I did the first half of the year where I was talking about my favorites of each month, and now and then the second half of the year I did like a montage of the physical media, so like me watching stuff. The videos, especially in the second half, were like literally 2 minutes long, super short. I don't know what people prefer. I've had comments recently where people are like, I prefer to see the physical media, and I'm like, okay, and then other people say other things, and I'm just like, okay guys, which one do we want? Okay, which one here is preferred? Because I feel like there's benefits of both. Like, I understand wanting to see the physical media, but then also I get to talk about it more when I'm just talking. So it's up to you guys. Let me know what you prefer. I also just wanted to try out a different kind of form of video, and I enjoyed it, but I also think I just enjoy talking to the camera, so I don't know. Anyways, I thought I'd return to the talking about my favorites instead for the last month of the year. And we've got a good media month, especially for reading. I have read so many books this month. I think like 30 books this month alone. I've read 217 books so far, and I'm trying to finish, I think it's 5 books by the end of the year. There's 2 that I need to finish by the end of the year because they're ebooks and they expire by the end of the year. So I need to finish those 2, and I've started one of them. And then there's another 3 that I want to finish because I've already started them, but I don't need to finish those. So that's the goal. But anyways, we'll get into it. First things first, music. I have not listened to a lot of music recently, like new music. Listened to a lot of old music, getting back into like shit I used to love to listen to, which is really nice, and I haven't been able to do that for a while for PTSD reasons. But yeah, it's really awesome to be able to do that again, so I'm just enjoying that. But there is one song that's new that I love, and it's Raven Lenae, Love Me Not. So good, what a legend, just excellent, brilliant song. Then TV shows, I've been binging Bones. If you are new here, I'm a complete, like, I wouldn't say crime fanatic, that sounds crazy. I love crime dramas when they have humor in them, so think NCIS. I do like Law and Order, but I have to take breaks from watching it because sometimes it just gets a bit much and it's not a comedy, it's just a drama. But Bones, my best friend and her older sister introduced me to Bones, and I'm just so obsessed with it. It's like NCIS, but like a different part of the crime system. And I have a thing for true crime and forensics, like just such a deep interest in it, and psychology, yeah, all of it. So I'm just very much so like love Bones. I'm watching it right now. I love it, it's so good. I've also been playing a new game. Today I bought myself If Found and also played the entire thing in one sitting. It was not as interactive as I thought it was gonna be, but I enjoyed it still. I think it was beautiful. The story was stunning, the animation was stunning. It's still like a really cute, cozy sit down. What I love about the Switch and gaming is being able to sit down and take my mind off everything, because even if I'm like reading or like watching Bones or listening to music, my head still has space to like ruminate and move around, and I don't love that. So yeah, I love playing my games. I'm still playing Cozy Grove every single day. It's literally my reason for waking up. It's the best game ever. But yeah, I played If Found. That's the new game, and I do recommend it. It's super cute. It is on sale right now, but I don't know if it will be when this comes out. But yeah, check it out if you like cozy Switch games, basically. Movies. I've actually watched so many movies this month, but they've all been really bad Hallmark, or the equivalent, which is Channel 5 is what I call it, Channel 5 movies. They've all been Christmas movies. I was really ill at the beginning of the month, and I was bedridden for like 4 days, and all I did was watch movies, which is a good thing because my goal this year was to watch 100 movies. Last year, or the year before, I think, yeah, last year I watched like 375 movies, and this year I was like, I am working overtime at this point. Like, as a freelancer, I don't have a 9 to 5. I work every hour every day. I worked today, it's Christmas, I'll probably work New Year's, my birthday. Like, it's just, I've worked so much this year. I knew I wouldn't have the time that I had previously, so I lowered the goal to 100, and I'm currently at 97, and that is mostly due to the Christmas movies I've watched. I only count for everything, like reading, TV shows, like everything, only new media. So like if I rewatch something, if I reread, I don't reread ever, but if I did, I don't count that. So it's like all new media that I want to intake in my goals. I'll still rewatch stuff, but I just won't count it towards the goal. So the two Christmassy, I guess, movies that I loved this month were Great Expectations. I've actually never watched the original through beginning to end, and I did. It was great. And also Violent Night. I actually really liked it, and I don't know why that got such, like, so much shit and so much hate. Don't understand it. It was just such a good, like, a feel-good crappy movie. And the reason I put it here is because it was like the best of the crappy movies. I watched so many crap movies, and there were some where it was like, this is worryingly bad. So like literally, like, this is crazy that this got like greenlit, like, by any means. But no, this one was good. I enjoyed it. It was fun. Finally reading. This is the one that I had a lot of 5 stars this month. Let me just say that. I'm really getting around to being very picky about what I read and pick up, which is a privilege because I get sent a lot of things, and I'm learning to say no, and to also like not worry, because like when you're on shit like NetGalley, it's so easy to just be like, let me request everything. like let me just request everything, because what if I don't get the chance to do this and that? And it's really annoying and frustrating, and it's a shitty mindset to have. So yeah, I just stopped thinking that way and not being afraid, and also not in such a rush. Like, I'm not gonna speak about what ones I use, but there are ways to pirate books, and I totally support pirating shit. I really do, because a lot of the time, like, a lot of readers, if they're big readers especially, they get nothing anyway, because they're like, you're 1 in a billion, and also you don't know, like, sometimes some of these writers can just be fucking awful. And like, some people just don't have the access. And anyways, even with pirating, I'm like, I need to slow down. These books are always gonna be there. I say that, and then I gave like 10 books like 5 stars. But it was a really good reading month. Like, I'm just looking at these books, I'm like, I read really great books this month. So I read Collide and Spiral by 𝙂𝙬𝙗𝙗, both sent to me. Ugh, I loved them. I need 𝙂𝙬𝙗𝙗 to like release more immediately. Like, just the perfect romances. I loved them. I loved them so much. Seventh Heaven by 𝙂𝙧𝙧𝙀. If you're new here, 𝙂𝙧𝙧 is my favorite author, so we be new. Every time I find the meaning of life, they change it. This was like, I picked this up having an understanding of what it was about, but I felt like when I read it, I was like, this is actually more interesting than what I thought it was about, because I love philosophy and I love psychology and I love sociology. Like, if I wasn't a creative person, and like had gone into music and film and photography and everything that I've done, I 100% would have gone into those things. So when I pick things up like this, I'm like, please don't be an essay quoting like fucking the original philosophers and it's like 500 pages of footnotes. I didn't go to school for it for a reason, you know. But I was so pleasantly pleased by this book. It was so interesting, and what I loved about it was that I was reading it and by the end of it I was like, shit, I honestly think I might be agnostic. Again, if you're new here, I don't want to say the word renowned, but you know what I mean, for being very spiritual. I'm just like, like due to a lot of PTSD, I lost a lot of my faith in spirituality, and also I experienced like spiritual psychosis when I was like 18, and I think a lot of people experience it. It's the same as religious psychosis, just the opposite end of the spectrum really. And I think like whilst I still have like spiritual beliefs, I just felt like after reading this, I was like, the term agnostic just fits me better. So the fact that like the book was able to almost flip like a change in me is so powerful, and I loved his explanation behind everything, because he was speaking about how being an agnostic doesn't mean that you don't believe in like other things of like spiritual things or like have other conflicting beliefs and stuff. It's just like God doesn't exist to you, and it's more than being an atheist. Like, you're heavy on like, this is fucking bullshit basically. So I really recommend it if you're into that stuff. I loved it. Lifeform by Jenny Slate. Again, if you're new here, Jenny Slate is my second favorite author. I have a Jenny Slate tattoo. I love this woman, and I say it every time I bring her books up, but if you like or don't like audiobooks, you need to listen to the audiobooks of her books. Because I have the physical books, but I get them after I listen to her audiobooks, because she narrates them, and I think it's really important to listen to books narrated by the writer, because I just think they say it in the exact way that's intended. That can't be replicated. Like, at the moment I'm reading the audiobook of Strong Female Character by Fern Brady, and she narrates it herself, and I just think it's like so much more powerful that way. But yeah, well, memoirs especially. If it's fiction, it's not too bad. But yeah, Lifeform was brilliant. She never fails to let me down. I just think she's crazy. I love it. Green Dot by Madeline Gray. Oh, I'm so annoyed by this one. I got sent this by Orion Books. They sent me like a box of just books they thought I'd enjoy, which is just crazy. And I received that in like May, and I haven't been able to get through most of like the books that I have. I'm like staring at like 300-400 books of mine over there. So I was like, this one I've got to read. It was like one of the ones in the box. I was like, this is like one of my top, like this is a priority in this box. And this book was on the 10 before the end for me. So yeah, I hate hate the premise. Want to know why? Because I have experienced something similar. Not at all the same, but similar. I'm not gonna go into it. It's like heavy PTSD shit. It's really not fun. But I was reading it, and this whole time I was like, not even seeing myself. It wasn't like that at all. But it was so emotional. It was so genuinely painful to read. Like, it wasn't, I've read books with tropes, right? And like, I actually think this is like partially a memoir as well. It's a common, unfortunately, experience, but I've read fiction where it has like tropes that I fucking hate, and I'm like, I'll try and read it anyway, I'll give it a chance, and I'm just like, no, I hate this. Like, you know, a lot of people stay away, for example, from like the cheating trope, and I don't even really like the exes trope, really, you know, just things like that. I just, it's not my thing. But this was executed so well that I physically sobbed and had to put it down. I was like, I can't do this. It was done so well. It was so raw. It was so real. It was done in a way where like the characters also like weren't insufferable. You could understand the actions behind the main character, like all of her actions. You could just understand it, and you just empathized with her the whole time. And maybe that's because of my personal experiences, but I just think also the way it was written was beautiful, and I think if it wasn't written that way, it wouldn't have the same effect. So I just loved it. I think it was great. Then I read I Who Have Never Known Men. This was highly recommended to me by friends online. I've seen a lot about it. When I picked it up, I didn't even read what it was about because it was so highly recommended. I was like, I'm just gonna read this. And I actually, after reading it today, gave a copy to my grandma for Christmas. And she like ripped it open. She was like, she just started laughing at the title, and she was like, "We will never know men," in her Greek ass accent. So love that. It's, if you haven't read it and you don't want a spoiler but you want to know what it's kind of like about, it's very much so The Handmaid's Tale minus a lot of the heaviness. It's still heavy, but it's almost more mystery than trauma. There's a lot of trauma, but you'll understand what I mean when you read it. And I read The Handmaid's Tale ages ago. I studied it. I loved it. But this was just like, I think more impactful almost, because it was so less overt that it was almost more sinister, and it was shorter, so it kind of packed a punch for how short it was. Yeah, it was really powerful. I really recommend that book. I also got sent a copy of Autopsy by Avon. What the fuck is that? By Avan. Hello, Ďogia. I don't know how you say his surname, because I fully will go Greek on that surname. And like halfway through I was like, I hate this, and then by the end of it I was like, I actually really like that. It's basically about his experience as a teenager and being famous, and I think it's an interesting concept. I think there were many moments for sure where people would hate him. Like, you're just reading it and you're just like, you're just such an arrogant fuck, and you don't know if it's like how he's trying to portray a teenage version of him or how he is now. So there's that. But aside from that, I think he was very good at setting scenes. I just think he was, it was poetry mostly, but I don't love poetry really, but he was just awesome at, I don't know, like creating an atmosphere. Yeah, I was impressed by his writing, and I could appreciate the book for what it was. I think it was good. Oh, this one broke me. An Apprenticeship or the Book of Pleasures. Again, widely suggested online, like crazily suggested online. I have wanted this book for years. It's been on my Pinterest board for years, and if you have ever had a relationship like what is in this book, you'll understand the depth of it. And if you haven't, I don't think you can even grasp what this book means and what it's depicting. It hurt but like in a good way, and it was so accurate and beautifully written and just a page turner. It was just stunning, and I think like that's like the book is almost like my definition of love, I think. Then I read a lovely cheesy Christmas romance, which was Snowed Under. This was by Juliana Smith. I've read a Juliana Smith before. This was her best one that I've read so far. It was so good. The tropes were gorgeous. The writing, she's improved like from the other one that I've read. Like it just, I don't know whether it was the way she put this story together or her writing in itself, but I think it was both. Just stunning, like the way it was done. I just fucking loved it. Perfect little romance. I loved it. And finally, The Gentleman from Peru by Andre Ackerman. Again, if you're new here, Call Me By Your Name changed my life. I have met Timothée Chalamet 4 times. I have tattoos, 2 tattoos of quotes from Call Me By Your Names. One in Timothée Chalamet's handwriting that he wrote for me personally. I hated Find Me. I think Andre was pulling a cash grab, which fair enough. So this was like the first book outside of Call Me By Your Name world that I read of his, and I needed this book all year, like so bad. Finally got it secondhand. Yeah, again, very similar in a sense to An Apprenticeship or the Book of Pleasures, where it's like, this is my definition of love. Like, I believe in this. And it's so heartbreaking, and there are moments where you're like, where is this going? Like, what's going on? And then it clicks and you're like, shit. And it's just, again, these, like, I Who Have Never Known Man, An Apprenticeship or the Book of Pleasures, The Gentleman from Peru, just like short books that pack such punches, like heavy emotional punches that I like can't fathom. Like, I need to process them, but I love them equally. I think that is how I would describe this book. It was beautiful. I loved it, and I highly recommend it. So let me know what you guys prefer, like in terms of the length of these in the physical media, or if you just like want to hear me talk about it. And I will see you next month. And it's crazy that next month is a new year. It's fucking weird. But I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.